Showing for all to see his latest executive action, U.S. President Donald Trump was clear.
This is an amazing day. I think this is going to be a very big day and in a very positive way for our country. Yes,
a plan to study tariffs effectively for the whole world that would be applied several weeks from now. Tit-for-tat reciprocal tariffs that the U.S. would apply to goods from any country which already has tariffs on U.S. goods. Critics say it risks a global trade war and higher prices for Americans, says Trump.
Oh, I think what's going to go up is jobs are going to go up, and prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down.
Trump adding the tariffs would also raise money for America. How much money?
That's the most interesting question. I think it'll be a staggering amount.
But then, as has become his practice, Trump spoke on just about anything, including, again, without prompting, Canada, including, again, a dig at the Prime Minister.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau.
Governor Trudeau, said Trump, reiterating his view Canada would be better off joining America, this time hinting maybe it needs to.
That have perfect military protection. They don't have any military protection because and you take a look at what's going on out there. You have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have Chinese ships, you have a lot of ships out there, and people are in danger. This is a different world today. It's a different world. They need our protection.
He didn't elaborate on that need, but did say
they think we're going to protect them with our military, which is unfair. So Canada is going to be a very interesting situation. So I think Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state.
At one point in the Oval, Adrienne, Trump said, re Canada, sometimes when I talk about this, people smile, as if to remind us all he is the president of the United States saying this, and he's doing so repeatedly.
Yeah, it's been a pretty astonishing first few weeks on that front, and so many others.
It sure has. I mean, it never stops. Even today, he also talked about instigating talks between the U.S., Russia, and China to reduce nuclear weaponry. He'll get to that, he said, after dealing with the Middle East and Ukraine. And then there's the tariff thing and its implications worldwide, including those specific tariffs against Canada. And on top of that, everything else on every other day, Adrienne.
Whew. All right, Paul Hunter in Washington. So let's bring in senior business correspondent Peter Armstrong. Let's talk about these reciprocal tariffs, because the thing is, they're sweeping, but they're also very, very vague. What are Canadians supposed to make of this?
Look, if Canadians are sitting at home confused by this, they're not alone. And their instincts are right. This is such a mind-boggling increase to the number of tariffs, to the way they might work, to how they might get costed out. We simply don't have enough information for us to figure out, frankly, what this is, let alone how businesses, people, policymakers should respond.
Okay, so that's not comforting. Where are people supposed to go to try to get a handle on it?
So when I'm confused, which happens a lot, I look to markets, because they've got to figure out how to spend money based on where things are headed, what it might mean for earnings and the economy. And markets have largely shrugged all of these threats off. Today, you have this massive sweeping threat. Markets were up. The S&P 500 almost set a record today.
So is that to say that some people, some markets included, think this is just a bluff?
Some people do. Some people think we just don't have enough information to act yet. The concern, though, is that Trump is making all these threats. This is on top of the steel and aluminum tariffs, on top of those broad 25% tariffs on all goods. He hasn't imposed anything on anyone yet. And the concern is that eventually he'll have to make good on some of these threats or they won't work anymore. And so the question comes back to, who's he going to go after and when's that going to happen?
Okay, Peter Armstrong, thank you.
You bet.